4 steps to dealing with any objection. Would you like to just be equipped to use an objection to your benefits? Number 1, listen. Listen to what they're saying without talking, without interrupting them, without waiting for your turn to talk. Just listen until you really understand where they're coming from. Listen to what's going on. Listen to the inflection of how they're saying it. Listen until you fully understand. You might have to ask a few follow-up questions to fully understand what it is that there is the issue. Listen. Number 2, relate. Relate to that person. Help them not feel like they're crazy. Person says, I don't have the time. You might ask a few questions about that, and they tell you, their story about not having much time. Then relate to them. Here's what you do. You say, I had the same thought that you're having right now. When I first looked at this, I didn't think I had the time either. We're the same, you and me. They say, I'm just not sure about network marketing. I wasn't either. You have the same challenges I had. I'm not sure if I have the money to do this. This seems like a big decision. Me too. This was a big decision for me. Even though I was making enough to make a living, everybody thought I was okay. I still didn't have very much at the end of the month, and this was scary as far as an investment. I didn't want to be a loser and whatever. Whatever it happens to be, relate to them so they feel we're the same, you and me. Okay, listen, relate. Third is to tell stories, yours or others. Tell stories. I got this concept from an old Amway tape I listened to years ago. And the title of the tape was To Build Your Rut and Let Other People See Their Own Challenges in Your Story. That you get stuck in a rut, build yours. And here's what this means. Somebody says, I don't have the money. Don't say, yes, you do. You can figure this out. Or don't even give them advice, because that's what we're tempted to do. Let me tell you how to. And now it's a talking down to them, subservient type of a situation. Here's a better way to do it. Tell a story, your story if it's appropriate to you. Somebody says, I don't have the money. Say, I totally understand. We're the same, you and me. When I first looked at this, I barely had enough to keep the wolves away from the door. I was already freaked out about what was going on at work. I had credit card debt. I had student loans. I had these different situations. Nobody else knew that I had these financial struggles, but I had them. And when I looked at the $1,000 it was going to take for me to be a part of this, it scared me a little bit. And I wondered if it was a worthwhile investment to add to the stress that I already had in my life. But let me tell you what I realized. At this stage of my life, if $1,000 was going to make me nervous, I bought the wrong plan. I was stuck in the wrong situation. I've been helping other people get rich for too long. So I just knew that for things to change, I had to change. I had to look at things different. I had to decide to invest in me instead of investing my time and my life in others. So I made the decision to get creative and resourceful, and I found the $1,000, even though it scared me a little bit. And you know what that $1,000 turned into for me? It was a symbol of my commitment to change my life. I decided that I was going to make that change, and I could do it, and I just had to say no to a few things and say yes to my future. So that's my story. Now, I didn't say one thing about them. I said it all about me. And then it's just a quick step number 4. If I would you. If I could show you how I got creative to figure out the $1,000, even though it scared me at first, and it was the best decision I ever made, if I showed you how I did that, the decisions I made and the lessons I learned, If I could show you that, would you be willing at least to take a look at it? Understand what I did? The answer is almost always, 99% of the time, it's going to be sure, show me. You could do the same thing with time. I don't have to have the time. Me either. I was freaking out about time. I had work pressure. I had home pressure. I didn't have any time for myself. The kids were pulling at me. I had to do this and I had to do that. And to think about, I'm going to start a new business and try and carve out 10 or 15 or 20 hours. Oh, it freaked me out to even think about it. It wasn't the money, it was the time. But then I realized that if I didn't control my life at this stage of my life, was I ever going to with this plan? I took a look at this and I realized I might have to make some sacrifices to make the time work in the short term. And it might even be less comfortable today. But 5 years from today, I'll buy my time back. 5 years from today, I'll have more choices. 5 years today, I'll have more freedom. Because if I don't have time now, if I keep doing what I've been doing, I'm never going to have time. So time's our freedom, right? I want to be able to enjoy that. So if I could show you how I got creative to figure out the time and why it was worth it for me, would you be willing to take the next step with me? Yeah, sure.